Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're going to hit up Erickson Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just going to bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty southpaws.
With Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout?
Like it's honest, but again, I want to see them fight. I want to see some aggression. Tank would have that if it was anyone he actually felt was worth it. I just don't know if he thinks Jake's worth it. And again, I get that feeling that he just is there.
Jake Paul has taken an interesting step in his training camp by inviting Shakur Stevenson to spar with him before his upcoming showdown with Gervonta "Tank" Davis. According to Paul, Stevenson personally expressed interest in joining the camp, which adds serious credibility to his preparations. Paul explained that his team has specifically brought in a group of talented southpaws, fighters, who may be smaller than him but have the skills and styles needed to mimic what he might face in the ring. Among those names, Stevenson's involvement caught many by surprise since there wasn't any known connection between the two before. Paul is confident that working alongside Stevenson and other high-level sparring partners will help sharpen his technique and mindset for the tough test ahead against Tank.
Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're going to hit up Erickson Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just going to bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty south.
Some boxing commentators have found the sudden link between Jake Paul and Shakur Stevenson quite surprising, even calling it a bit suspicious. They point out that Stevenson's involvement looks more like a business arrangement than a natural boxing partnership. Similar to when Jaron Boots Ennis joined Canelo Alvarez's camp to help him prepare for Terence Crawford. What makes this situation particularly interesting is that, unlike Boots and Canelo, who already shared family ties and a history, there's no known personal or professional connection between Paul and Stevenson. Because of that, many believe financial incentives might have played a key role in bringing Stevenson into Paul's camp. This theory has sparked debates over Stevenson's motives, with some suggesting that the move is more about strategic business decisions than genuine boxing collaboration. It's certainly an unexpected alliance between two fighters who've never previously crossed paths.
Shakur Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand, what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis? Tell me, what is the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's against a YouTuber, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly to make it happen?
Shakur Stevenson has spoken out to clear up his perspective on the potential Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight. He explained that if he were in Tank's shoes, he'd look at the matchup through two different lenses. From a business standpoint, Stevenson acknowledged that a fight like this makes a lot of sense. It brings massive publicity and lucrative opportunities. But speaking as a competitor, he was honest in saying that it's not the kind of fight he himself would choose to take. His comments highlight the divide between treating boxing as a strategic career move and viewing it strictly as a sport. While some have questioned his decision to spar with Jake Paul, Stevenson made it clear that financial factors play a part in these choices. He emphasized that today's boxing world often walks a fine line between pure competition and the entertainment business.
Can you blame a man for taking that opportunity? Because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
it's two sides of that. Like,
Okay.
it just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity,
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you did had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever made.
Things got heated at the official press conference when Jake Paul and Gervonta "Tank" Davis came face to face. The stare-down quickly escalated, with both fighters shoving each other, instantly setting social media and the boxing world abuzz. Despite how intense it looked, many analysts believe the scuffle was more about marketing than genuine hostility. In modern boxing, these kinds of confrontations have become a tried-and-true tactic to generate buzz, create viral clips, and boost pay-per-view sales. The brief push between Jake and Tank fits perfectly into the narrative surrounding this matchup. A clash that's as much about spectacle as it is about skill. The hype centers on whether the bigger, stronger fighter can overpower the smaller, technically sharper opponent, or if the underdog's speed and precision will prevail. This kind of staged drama is exactly what draws in casual fans, ensuring that Fight Night captures the attention of a much wider audience.
Southpaw orthodox matchup, left hand down the pipe. You can even see here, I'm not even trying to do the whole body language breakdown, but you can even see Tank could get under that left hand because he's 5-0. He could roll under that left hand, and here comes the brick hand over the top. If he lands something like that in 10 ounces, I'm going to tell you this. Jake's 200 and something pounds. That's still going to hurt at the very least, and who knows what, because Tank's got ridiculous power. So Jake, a little sloppy on the push there. He got pushed. He wanted to get it back. There's something to be taken away from that, but lines up perfectly for a counter left hand. And you even see his promoter here is kind of grabbing his left hand because Tank wanted to let it fly. And Jake backed up a little bit. He said, oh, and Tank comes from that. Tank, man. Tank said, where I'm from, the bullies get bullied. All right, dude, there you go. Listen, takeaways from this thing, I don't know. Tank seemed to have a little bit more energy today. He seemed to be more lively. Him going back and forth with the media, with Jay Leon, with Jake, with Aiden Ross. There seemed to be a bit more energy today. That's all I really asked for. So in terms of, selling us on something, sure. Better job today from both guys. Jake, seemed a bit more locked in here with Tank as well. They had a little bit more fun. Tank going after Nikisa was pretty funny. But listen, this doesn't change anything in my mind. The 10-ounce gloves doesn't really change anything to me. I mean, again, I think that's a bad idea for Tank, more so because even if Jake doesn't land clean, those are 10-ounce gloves, still going to hurt. Tank is still punching in gloves that are 2 ounces heavier than he normally uses, so I don't know how that's a win for him. The $2 million bet almost certainly won't happen, which I didn't think would in the first place, but Tank pretty much confirmed it. And we're all left with the same kind of idea that we thought about this to begin with. This is an entertainment exhibition that we know is going to draw a ton of eyeballs. I'm going to watch, and there's going to be great high-level competition boxing on the underneath card. And even in the main event, if something is to happen, if someone is to get knocked out, it will go mega viral, and both these guys are going to make a shit.
Even though the build-up to this fight leans heavily on showmanship, many boxing insiders emphasize that Gervonta "Tank" Davis is taking this matchup very seriously. Observers have analyzed his demeanor and the intensity of his training, noting that he looks completely focused and locked in. Experts explain that the stakes for Davis are bigger than some might think. A win over Jake Paul wouldn't just bring him a huge payday, it would also push his name further into the mainstream spotlight. Analysts caution that Paul can't afford to take Tank lightly, the way he may have approached older opponents like Mike Tyson during earlier promotional talks. Unlike past exhibition opponents, Davis is in his athletic prime and carries a reputation for being ruthless once the bell rings. If Paul underestimates him or treats this fight like just another spectacle, the consequences could be severe. Davis's disciplined approach in camp reflects that he fully understands both the financial upside and the reputational risk of losing to a YouTuber turned boxer.
In this particular in the press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games, don't hit him in the back of the head, don't rabbit punch him, don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not gonna have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn.
Boxing analyst Showbiz the Adult has shared a firm opinion on the potential impact of a Gervonta Tank Davis victory. He argues that if Tank manages to defeat Jake Paul, he would become something of a hero, not just to hardcore boxing fans, but also to casual viewers. The reasoning is simple. A large segment of the audience has been waiting to see Jake Paul finally get knocked out. His rapid transition from online celebrity to headlining major boxing events has been polarizing, drawing in younger, newer fans while irritating many traditional boxing supporters. From Showbiz's point of view, a decisive win for Davis wouldn't just be another notch on his record. It would be a moment that satisfies a widespread craving among fans. If Tank delivers that knockout, it would solidify his image as the fighter who humbled Jake Paul, elevating his reputation inside the ring and in popular culture. This perspective also highlights the cultural weight behind the fight. Davis is seen as the representative of boxing tradition, while Paul embodies the entertainment-driven, influencer era of the sport.
Gervonta Tank Davis stops that. If he is the one who stops this whole train, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero. People will then say, now get the hell out the sport. And I'm talking about from a fighter's perspective. That's what they're going to say. Now, it's not going to go on either one of their official records because it's an exhibition. But it doesn't matter because optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
We're gonna have to help you up. We're gonna have to help you up. We're gonna see about it. Help you up. We're gonna.
Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him Bambi legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's the Black True Sugar. That you guys don't want to admit it. Don't bull jive. Think about it. He will be a boxing hero. It will go viral over and over. It's the same thing. No, not even the same. It's not even close, but there was a viral reaction when AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou.
Anthony Joshua can dispose of the MMA champion.
When AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou in the first round, it was like, now get out of here.
Former world champion and current commentator Timothy Bradley hasn't held back when sharing his thoughts on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight. He views the matchup as an easy payday for Davis, pointing to Tank's elite skill set and extensive experience against top-level opponents as clear advantages. Bradley argues that when you compare their resumes, Jake Paul simply doesn't pose a serious threat. In his view, This isn't a fight built on competitive intrigue. It's a smart business move designed to generate major revenue for both sides while giving Davis a highly winnable bout. He frames the event as a low-risk, high-reward situation for Tank, emphasizing that the real goal seems to be capitalizing on Paul's celebrity status to boost Davis's star power. Bradley's take echoes a broader sentiment in the boxing community. Many expect Davis to win convincingly while also cashing in on the spectacle. Adding to the conversation, the choice to hold the fight in Florida has also sparked discussion, with some questioning the motivations behind that decision.